How did you know he was the one? Wow. Alright, I'm ready. Alright. Woo! Hi guys, how are you guys doing? Welcome to my living room. Okay, this is one corner of my living room. It's not my entire living room, obviously. I'm actually facing a window right now, and I think the sun is setting, so I'm losing light. Hopefully we get through this video before we lose light, basically. And I'm so sorry if the audio is not great. I don't have a mic. I am purely shooting this on a camera that I bought 3 years ago for my friend's wedding, and then I never used it ever since. So finally it's being put to good use right now, and I'm pretty excited to do this video. I've been wanting to do it for so long because I have been getting a lot of questions from you guys. You know, I get a lot of DMs, especially about why I support Liverpool and why do I watch football, why do I like sports. I mean, I don't feel like I need to justify myself, but I want to share a little bit about my life and how it all started. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. Be honest, but be nice as well. And let's just get into this because I have so many questions to answer. Oh, by the way, before I forget, let me just tell you that I'm going to be doing this in 2 parts because I got a lot of Liverpool and football questions, so I will do that all in one video, and then all the personal stuff, beauty stuff, will be in another video, just so that it's not too long. And you know, people who are not really interested in my private life so much, you don't have to watch that video, you can just focus on this one. But I do hope that, you know, you do get to watch both videos anyway. Without wasting any more time, let's just get into it. Question number 1. So this is no secret, I've always wanted to meet Stevie G, Captain Fantastic. I've been to Anfield a couple of times now. I have met most of the players in the current squad, especially the ones that came to Malaysia. I hosted a gala dinner with John Barnes at that point, and I did get to meet Lovren, Lallana, Henderson. But on my recent trip to Anfield, I got to meet Emre Can, I got to meet Mo Salah. I've been pretty blessed to be able to have met so many of the current squad players, but Stevie G, when am I ever gonna meet you? Seriously. So yeah, I would really like to meet Stevie G, especially now that he's retired. I'm not sure, what are my chances? Are they better or worse? Help me. Hashtag pray for Reem to meet Gerard. Me, all credit definitely goes to my mom. She used to work for this company that had an office in England, and every time she would visit them, her colleagues there would take her to a football game. So that's how she started loving football, and I think it sort of carried on into the family. But also, my mom used to send me to my grandma's house quite a bit, so all my cousins would be hanging out there, and we would walk to this kedai runcit that was just down the street. They would buy magazines like Goal and Match. I'm not sure if you guys have ever read them before, but those are pretty old school magazines. I think they still have them now anyway. And I would just pick up a Liverpool FC magazine because most of my cousins supported Man United, and I thought, I'm not going to be supporting Man United no matter what. So I just bought these magazines and I just started learning about these teams, going through them, and I was like, wow, their lives are so exciting. I got into football before I ever watched a full 90 minutes of a game, and then I really got into it, like getting into the spirit and cheering for your team and having something to look forward to. I really enjoyed that, and that's how my love for football really started. I mean, it's not really comparable because sports is not something that I personally do. I enjoy watching sports. I never really played one particular sport. I'm more of a fitness kind of girl, so I'd go to the gym, and back in the day I used to play futsal for a bit, but I never really got into any sport myself, but I loved watching it. You know, I'm just one of those people that never really played sports very well. Just because of that, I would probably say I prefer traveling because I'm actually experiencing the travel itself, like exploring new places and, you know, seeing things that you only read about in magazines, stuff that you see on your phone, on Instagram, and you get to see it live in person. So that experience will forever stick in you. Food is just like a byproduct of traveling. No, actually Malaysian food is pretty awesome. I love Malaysian food. I love my Malay food. I love my nasi and my sambal petai and sambal belacan. You know, just typical Malay food is way up there for me. But at the same time, I am quite the foodie. I do appreciate food that's cooked really well and freshly produced. Yeah, if I had to pick between sports, traveling, and food, I would pick traveling because when I travel, I still get to watch sports, whether on TV or buy tickets for a game, and I get to enjoy food, so travel. And I get all 3. In the Premier League? This is a tough one, guys. I would probably pick Arsenal. I don't know why, I just feel like they are everybody's second favorite team. Don't you agree? I supported Liverpool from as far as I remember. it's about when I was about 9 or 10 years old, because like I mentioned earlier, I used to go to my grandma's house and all my cousins would support Man United, but I was the only one that supported Liverpool. Number one, because I wanted to be different from them. Number two, because I cannot stand the like overconfidence of the players at Man United at that point, especially Emre Can and the collar flip thing. I couldn't, I didn't jive with that, you know what I mean? And I started buying those Liverpool magazines, so that's when I think my love affair for the club started. And when I bought those magazines, I actually wrote into the magazine. They had like a pen pal section right at the back of the magazine, like the last page, and they would feature you, you know, like write to this person, they were from this country and their interests, but it was only for Liverpool supporters, of course. So I actually wrote into that magazine, to the Liverpool FC magazine, and I was featured as a you know, as one of the pen pals. And I used to write to Liverpool supporters all over the world, and they would write back to me. They would give me these really cool like keychains or magnets, like all these Liverpool merchandise. They were so sweet. And this was before I had ever stepped into Anfield. So I was like 8 or 9, and then when I was 10 years old, let me try and insert a photo at this point. I visited my cousin who was living in England with my parents, and what we did was we rented a car and we did a little road trip all over England, and we went to so many different stadiums. The only stadium that really sort of you know, left an impression on me was Anfield, but also I think because I had already sort of supported the club back then already. And so when I went to Anfield, I was like, oh my god, this place is so awesome. We didn't watch a game or anything because it was off season, if I'm not mistaken. So we purely went there for a stadium tour, and I fell in love with that place. And from then on I knew, this is my club, I'm going to be supporting this for the rest of my life. Alright, next question. Mo Salah, for sure. He is the difference. I mean, we talk about teamwork, but this guy is like a one-man show. He'll be running up and down the field. He's so hardworking. He has the most assists, if I'm not mistaken, and he scored the most goals. If that is not a well-rounded player, I don't know what is. This is a given, but you definitely have to watch a game. Especially try to get a seat on the main stand, because I think the view there is awesome, even if you're really high up. Of course, it's great to be sitting at the Kop end. I don't think I've ever sat at the Kop end. No, but I have sat at the Anfield Road side. Yes, I have. So that was like right behind the goal as well, but not the Kop end, like the opposite of the Kop end. And I've sat at the main stand, and I've sat somewhere near the media area as well. So to be fair, it doesn't really matter where you sit, because as long as you get a ticket to watch a game, it is electrifying in Anfield. You know, my first experience singing You'll Never Walk Alone at Anfield, I cried. I literally teared up, you know. I wasn't bawling, but I did. Like, I felt it in my throat. I was like, oh my god, you know, like singing You'll Never Walk Alone with all these Liverpool fans. It was crazy. The first game I ever watched was Liverpool versus Arsenal, and I think they drew in that game 3-3. Yeah, it was in January 2016, if I'm not mistaken, but that was an awesome game. Awesome atmosphere. And then I think towards the end of the game it started snowing as well. Wow, incredible experience. But aside from watching a game, you should also definitely do a stadium tour, because obviously on game day all you get to see is, you know, the pitch and just your seats where you're sitting and the little area that you get to buy food and drinks and everything. But the stadium tour, you know, really gives you an insight, not just on the stadium itself. Like, of course you get to go to the locker rooms and all that, but you get to learn a lot about the history of the club as well. And I love the little museum that they have that tells, of course, the history of Liverpool, but also they have a dedicated room to Stevie G. And oh my god, again, the first time that I went into that room I almost teared up, because at that time I think he had just retired for about a year, if I'm not mistaken. I was still trying to get over the fact like that he wasn't in the club anymore, and when I stepped into that room it was so emotional, because they were showing this video, and as I walked in they were celebrating the Istanbul win, and you know, he was crying, he was very emotional, and that just really got to me as well. And seeing his jersey collection from all these amazing players that have given him their jerseys, and he decided to put it up in that room, that was really awesome. You know what, I think I'm going to link a Wishlist episode, the one that we actually did at Anfield, so you can watch that episode and get a little bit of insight. That was before they revamped the main stand though, but still, it's worth watching because it's really good. And then aside from all the Liverpool stuff, you definitely need to visit the Beatles Museum. Wow, that museum will make you appreciate the Beatles so much. I don't think I was really a huge fan of their music because, you know, it's not from our generation or anything. Just learning about how big they were back in the day really immerses you into the Beatles world. For example, one thing that really stood out for me was the Yellow Submarine. So you know that song, the Yellow Submarine. So they actually built this thing that makes you feel like you're in a submarine, and you walk into it and it's all yellow and the song is playing. And at the end, like the very last room was dedicated to John Lennon. It was an all-white room and they were playing that song, Imagine. There's just a vibe to it. You feel John Lennon's presence in there. You just need to experience the Beatles Museum. It's really good. Aside from that, Liverpool is just generally a beautiful city. Walk around the Albert Dock area, and I don't remember what that portion is called, but slightly further up from Albert Dock as well, if you just continue walking, you will head towards the museum, and then there are those statues of the Beatles that is right in front of the Liverbird building. So that's a fantastic view right there, amazing for pictures. And they definitely have some really cool restaurants as well. So Steven Gerrard has a restaurant called Vincent. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I think it's St. Vincent or Vincent, something like that. But you should definitely give that restaurant a go. They've got some really great food in there, and just to know that, ooh, I'm dining in Steven Gerrard's restaurant, it's pretty cool. Do check it out. Oh, definitely try Nasi Lemak Liverpool. It is pretty good and it's highly recommended if you miss local food so much, even though you're just there a couple of days. But honestly, eating Malaysian food when you're overseas with their weather, I don't know, I love it. So I visited once when I was younger, when I was 10, like I mentioned, and then I visited again when we did Wishlist in January 2016, and then I went again last year in 2017. It was in August. I went for the PFA Awards where we presented Firmino with Player of the Month Awards. So we brought a winner from Malaysia. We were in Melwood basically, in the waiting area, waiting for the PFA guys to tell us that, okay, Firmino's now ready for you to interview him and talk to him and sign your jerseys and all that. Suddenly, out of nowhere, this van arrives at Melwood, right in the lobby area, and out comes Emre Can, Mo Salah, Andy Robertson, and Solanke. They were all in one van and they came out together, and I lost my mind. If you knew how obsessed I am with Emre Can, you would understand why I completely freaked out. And I couldn't say anything. So he walked in and I was like, speechless. I wanted to ask for a photo, but I was so scared that he would reject me. So I have this thing about rejection. For example, right, I go up to him and I'm like, can I have a picture please? And he says no. That is just going to ruin my image of this person forever. Because, you know, you think so highly of them and then suddenly they're like, no, I'm sorry, I'm busy, I can't do a photo with you. That would just kill me. The winners that we brought with us, you know, they were like, yeah, whatever. Like, they were just so cool. So when Emre Can walked, he was like, oh, can we have a photo, please? And of course, he stopped for them. And that was my opportunity to, like, just, you know, get in there and get a picture as well. The winners took photos with Mo Salah as well, but I didn't, because I was just like, okay, I'm here to do a job, and I didn't want to sort of intrude on them. So I didn't get a photo with Mo Salah, but I did see him in person. That was an amazing trip. And then I went once again a month later, I think that was in September, with MAS. It was a campaign that they did with Enrich. Because as you know, Malaysia Airlines is the official sponsor for Liverpool. It's like their official airline or something. Once again, we got to bring some winners from Malaysia. I think it was a game versus Crystal Palace, and they definitely won that one. So I've watched Liverpool lose, I've watched Liverpool draw, and I've watched them win, all at Anfield. So you know, I don't think I bring bad luck or good luck. It's just they win, they lose, they draw. That is the nature of football. I think one of the things that Liverpool has that's quite different from other football teams is their fans. It's definitely the fans and the passion. I don't really know how to describe it, but there is some sense of community within the Liverpool fan base. I think it has a lot to do with the song You'll Never Walk Alone. That philosophy has just been instilled. You feel that you are part of a bigger community and you all have this one interest, that is the club, and regardless of how well or bad the club does in a particular game or season, you're still going to support them because you'll never walk alone. So you're never going to leave your team. Good days, bad days, you're always going to be there for them. And I think that's what's so amazing about Liverpool. I don't mean that fans of other teams are not as passionate. They are, but in a very different sense of passion, if you know what I mean. And of course, the stadium itself is so historical. the things that have happened there. That definitely adds character to the club. If you look at a club like Man City, for example, I mean, yeah, they have really great players. They do really well every season now because of the money. Back in the day, football wasn't just about money. Because, like I mentioned, all my cousins were supporting Man United and I just could not deal with that. I wanted to be different from everybody else, and my mom was such a huge fan of the club as well, so I was like, yeah, this is my team. Also, I think I wrote this on my blog before on the Klopp salad. When I started watching and supporting Liverpool, it was during the Spice Boys era. Of course, Robbie Fowler was in the team and I really liked his name. I was like, what? Robbie Fowler? You mean like flower, but Fowler? So I thought that was really cool, and I just thought, I can relate to this team, you know, and I really like Jamie Redknapp because I was a fan of Lewis Harding at that time, who was in this girl group, as well as Michael Owen, and they had David James. Of course, at that point, they weren't winning leagues anymore, but that proves to you that I'm not a glory hunter. I supported the team for a lot more than their winning ways. Let me try and break this down. Okay, so outside of the Premier League, I have to be honest, I don't really follow the other leagues as much as I do the Premier League, so I'm not as aware of, you know, the lesser known teams and all that. I mean, I do know most of their names, but in terms of how they play, their techniques, their strategies, I'm not too familiar with that. So of course, I think when it comes to other leagues, I tend to support the teams that do better. But I think it's also what I associate my experiences with, because I've had the opportunity to travel quite a bit and visit all the different stadiums around Europe. So in the La Liga, I do support Barcelona, and I remember reading an article once that said, you know, back in the day when Pep Guardiola was in Barcelona, he didn't allow all the players to come in their big fancy cars. He didn't want the stardom to get into the players' heads. He wanted them to focus purely on football. And I feel, for example, Real Madrid is the complete opposite of that, because Real Madrid are known as the Galacticos, you know? They spend a lot of money on players, and so all the players are superstars, and, you know, they have a confidence about them, which is great. I am more attracted to sort of the more laid-back and humble quality of the Barcelona players, so I've always supported them. And of course, Lionel Messi, I mean, really. In the Liga, I support PSG, and yes, they are a really good team and they spend a lot of money on their players. I know I'm contradicting myself right now, but because the first time that I met Zlatan Ibrahimovic, he was a player at PSG, and we had this whole experience in Paris, and you know, we went to the game and I got to meet Zlatan. I got to even meet the owner of the club at that point. I forgot his name, but he's a Qatari. So because of my experience, I support PSG. Like, I've never experienced any other club like Lyon or Marseille or anything, so I can't really say that I support them, you know what I mean? And as for the Bundesliga, I support Dortmund. No secret there, because, you know, they also sing the You Never Walk Alone song. Jurgen Klopp was from there, and I have visited the stadium. Oh my god, the Dortmund stadium is freaking amazing. I think of all the football clubs in the world, right, and I dare to say this because I have been acquainted with so many of them, and I visited so many stadiums as well, that Dortmund has got their branding on point. You walk into the stadium, you walk into the merchandising shop, everything is so seamless, it just blends so well. Their branding is so good, so sleek, so chic. They stick to that black and yellow. I mean, all clubs do that, but they actually have products that even if you were not a football fan, you would want to own. I think they do it really well. But besides that, you know, the whole Jurgen Klopp and You'll Never Walk Alone connection, I support them in the Bundesliga. 10 hours later, we're still here. I need a drink. If you guys are still watching at this point, thank you so much. I think I'm just going to wrap it up right here today, because this is a really, really long video, and I know it looks like it's really easy and seamless. I'm just sitting here talking, but it's quite tiring. Who knew YouTube videos would be so tiring, huh? I think I just need to get a mic for myself so that my audio is better, because right now I feel like I'm shouting into the camera, hoping that it would pick it up. I will be doing another video, a little bit more personal, you know, not going to be talking about football in that one at all. Hopefully you like that one just as much. But I hope this gives you a little insight, and if you have any more questions, leave it in the comments below. I will try and answer as many as possible, and maybe you should give me ideas as well as to what sort of videos I should be doing in the future, because like I said, I really want to start my YouTube channel, but I'm really scared. I don't know what sort of content I can put out. I'm not sure if I will be good at it. I'm not sure if I will be consistent with it. But give me some ideas, you know, maybe anything related to football or just casual chit chats or doing whatever's trending on YouTube or the internet. I'm pretty game, but at the same time I'm a little like hesitant, so you know, based on your feedback, based I guess on how well these videos are received, yeah, give me some feedback on what else I should do in the future. And that's it. I thank you guys for watching.